Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today is Dzhokhar Tsarnaev's birthday. Notice he was born July 22nd, 1993. This is interesting because he is responsible, supposedly, for the Boston Marathon bombing along with his brother. And on that same date in history is the date that Lincoln died, and he died at the time of 7/22, a lot like today's date, July 22nd. And the reason that number is used so often is because 22 divided by 7 is the number approximation for pi, having to do with cycles and circles. And unfortunately for us, we live in a nation, in a world where the people of this world are so often hoaxed for the purpose of agenda in steering us as a society. And the people who do it are numerologists and abide by these numbers and code these numbers into their hoaxes over and over. Earlier today, I did a post on how the first 144 numbers right of the decimal point, when you sum the first 144, it sums to 666. And the phrase mark of the beast in gematria sums to 144. It's the first 144 decimal point or numbers summed together coming after the decimal point that sum to 666, if you follow that. And in the Bible, in Revelation, both of these numbers are used. What's interesting about that is that the Boston Marathon bombing, the year it happened, the finish line was 666 Boylston Street. So we can see how these numbers come together and the purpose behind their coding. Further, his life number for July 22nd, 1993 sums to 33 with numerology. And as I often say, the numbers 33 and 74 are so often paired together in this study. The name Dzhokhar Tsarnaev in Pythagorean gematria sums to 74. 74 and 33. Perfect example of this, if you're new here, is Jesus and cross sum to 74, and of course Jesus was crucified at 33. Of the 50 states in the United States of America, only one has a gematria of 74. It happens to be the 33rd state, Oregon. This coding is deep, it's geography, it's religion, it's science, it's a lot. And the reason why is because the editors of this world, the people who steer society, are Freemasons and they're Zionists. And these numbers have great meaning to their spirituality. The other brother has a life number of 28. What's interesting about 33 and 28 is that if you write them out as words and sum them with gematria, they both sum to 156. A number connected to God, just like 33 and 74 are. If you have not seen my video post on the word God and all the coding behind it, please watch that. Very fascinating. Will make all this information make so much more sense. Again, Lincoln died on April 15th, the date of the Boston Marathon bombing, at 7:22 in the morning. There's a reason they code these numbers over and over. Also, that year 93 is very special as well. When you think of Jesus on the cross, it'll make you think of a crucifix. The word crucifix has a gematria of 93. Also, if you've never seen this video before, I want to show you the video of how they pulled off the crisis actors at the Boston Marathon bombing since we're on the topic. This is important knowledge when people ask questions. If you're one of those people who's out there like me trying to promote truth and getting the people to wake up, you're properly confronted with people who question you and say, well, how could they pull this off? The reason to understand a video like this is so you can explain why when you come across these situations. Here we go.
Well, this next story is very powerful, but I've got to warn you, the image are also very graphic. You're about to meet some incredibly brave people. They're amputees doing work only they can do, training men and women in uniform. Here's our Poppy Harlow. On this simulation.
Did you see that explosion there, True Seeker? After you're done with this video, go look up the Boston Marathon bombing and tell me that's not exactly what they detonated at 666 Boylston Street and just a block down the way. I have other videos on this too, and I show how Family Guy successfully predicted this. It's all worth watching and taking in. Here we go.
Battlefield, it's hard to determine what's real and what's not.
We call it hyper-realistic.
Kit Lavelle served in Vietnam and now runs Strategic Operations, a movie set turned training ground, preparing thousands of U.S. servicemen and women for combat.
Individuals who are going through the training here are not expecting to see an amputee. So the shock effect of seeing that happen is priceless.
The action is fake.
And notice he just used the word drill. It said that in the time the Boston Marathon bombing was taking place, there was a planned drill for around that same period of time. That's exactly what they did. They had a live drill during a marathon, crisis actors ready to go, and they broadcast it as a real news event. This is undeniable. Anyone who takes the time to research and watch the video footage that's out there, it's undeniable. There's people with their legs blown off that aren't bleeding at all. How's that possible? Most people who lose limbs in combat die from bleeding out. People in the Boston Marathon bombing, they stayed there like the actors they were for extended periods of time. No blood around their bodies. Complete joke.
But the amputees are real. They're actors with a unique perspective on what others would consider a disability.
It's more of a gift. I need to share it with people. You think this is a gift? It is a gift.
Heather Morales lost her right leg to cancer when she was just 8.
Yeah, just, you can come up. I just wanted
Ted and June DiStefano both lost their left leg in a tragic accident.
A car came around the corner too fast and hit us. It's a trauma that's been changed.
If you're new here, search for my video post on cancer. This is all information people need to have. I put out some really good videos that need more attention. Search for my post on cancer.
That can change other people's lives as well as my own. It's become an asset.
I went through similar training here recently, and it's as real as it gets. It's preparation that we do as journalists before we go into a hostile environment. And when I was working myself on these amputee actors, it's what made me really want to tell their story.
Yeah, well, I've met people that have already gone through the training and have gone overseas and come back and say that the training helped me.
Really?
Yeah, those are the best. When they come back and say you made a difference, those are amazing.
Having amputee actors, what does that add to this? What does that mean?
Complete realism, because it actually is more realistic, and it gives them that firsthand knowledge of what to do in case of a casualty.
Most importantly, it takes away the shock.
Personally haven't been there. It means so much big difference to actually working with these people to actually simulate with real-life combat.
Personally, I would say thank you, because they're putting out for the military personnel new experience that we need to save lives.
You can see it in their eyes that it's really affecting them.
Do they cry?
Oh, yeah.
You've had servicemen and women in training cry seeing you.
Yes, I have.
Do you cry?
Absolutely.
For the amputees, what could be traumatic is far from it. What is it for you?
It's healing.
And it's personal. Ted served in the Navy for 21 years.
I look at the men and women, and some of them are sons and daughters and fathers and mothers.
That's someone's child that's out there.
Heather's husband also served, and she'll never forget the day a 3-star general approached her.
So he came up to me and just, thank you. Me?
Was that the moment when you realized the purpose of what you were doing?
Yeah. That's when I realized that this isn't just, a regular job. My goal is to make it so that someone comes home at night to their families. That's my ultimate goal.
When you go home at night and lay your head on the pillow and know that you have the ability to change someone's life, it's priceless.
A dose of perspective for all of us. Poppy Harlow, CNN, San Diego.
So that's how they did it, Truth Seeker. They got crisis actors covered from the bomber himself to the people laying limbless in the streets. This is what our nation spends its money on. Psychological operations for the purpose of keeping us on the conveyor belt, so we're focused on school, work, paying taxes, and at the end of the day, essentially being good slaves who are pleased and satisfied with the technology and the snacks and the easy access to the food that poisons us but tastes oh so good. This is what it's all about in America, Truth Seeker. If you haven't seen these videos on how these scenes were set up on crisis actors such as this man right here, you got to check all this stuff out, Truth Seeker. I've done multiple videos. You can get all the information you pretty much need to know just by browsing my channel. So I hope you learned something new. Happy birthday to one of many people who have sold us out. It's a shame that needs to be exposed. All right, until next time.